We have a wonderful example of that here at St. Peter's. We host Pralid, which is an organization that helps train people who care for people who have had traumatic brain injuries. And it was started in 1994 by a mother whose son had a traumatic brain injury. Now, what could be more powerful than a mother's love for her child? And her son had had this brain injury, and she wanted him to be able to live as independently as possible, to have the best life he could have under the circumstances. But she couldn't get any help from anybody. And there were no agencies to go to, no institutions that could guide her. But she loved her son. She had an open heart. She didn't let all of this overwhelm her. She decided to do something. So she created this organization called Pralid, which stands for People Rebuilding and Living in Dignity. That's what she called her agency. And she created a living situation, an individual, residential, alternative living situation. And she found 3 other young men with traumatic brain injuries, and she brought them together. Together, the 4 families brought a house, and they trained people who could then live with their children and help them live independently as best as they possibly could. Now, this woman had no experience in doing this. She had never set up a house like this. She knew nothing about traumatic brain injury, but she had an open heart full of love for her son. And when we have open hearts and they're full of love, then God decides to work through all of that, and things begin to happen. So she created this home, and it worked so well that the state agency says, you know, we would like to create more of those homes, and can you help us? And we would like to help people who would like to live in their homes and maybe have people come in and give them some help. So Pralid was created, this nonprofit agency, and they began to train people, and they began to duplicate the model that she had done. And every time something was needed, instead of feeling overwhelmed or looking at the negative part or thinking, oh, I can't do this, I don't know where to go, I don't know who to ask, I don't know what resources are out there, they would appear. The mustard seed had been planted in this woman, in her desire through the love for her son to do something. And all of a sudden it was growing, and it was becoming larger, and it was encompassing more people, and it was sheltering them and showering love on other people. And pretty soon the need for trained people to work at Pralid got to be so large they couldn't train them down on Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road, and they didn't know what to do. So they started calling churches in the area. And all the churches like, what? You want to do what? You want to have training at our church? We're not a training facility, we're a church. Well, then they called me. I said, you want to do what? You want to have training? Sure, come on, look at the space. So they come down to St. Peter's. They come in, they're like, wow, beautiful manicured lawns, bushes are trimmed, parish hall is beautiful, it's been painted, it's lovely. What a wonderful atmosphere. And they walk in the parish hall, and I say, well, that's not a parish hall, that's a training center. They look at our tables and our chairs, and they say, wow, this would really work for us. It's okay? I said, well, yeah. I see that this is more than a place to have coffee hour on Sunday, that this is a place where our hearts are open to be part of that mushroom bush that is growing and sheltering and loving and creating a space for all people. So they started in the fall, and they come the first week of the month, Monday through Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the second week, and we've been having that happen here. And this past month, they had 20 people they were training. And they all come in the morning, and people come by from the church, and they go, the parking lot was full on Tuesday. What's going on there? I said, it's Pralid. It's like, then they go by, it was full again on Thursday. What are you doing there? I said, well, it's Pralid. So these 20 people come in to get trained to help people with traumatic brain injury. These are people that need a job. They now have a job. They are typically young 20-somethings that are benefiting greatly for the kind of training because they're learning first aid, they're learning CPR, they're learning how to cook. They have to help the people with the traumatic brain injury cook. A lot of these young people, if you say saute an onion, they don't know what saute means. I would probably guarantee that half of my kids probably don't know what saute means. So what's happening is that the people coming in for training are being benefited. They're learning basic life skills. They have a job, and it's a meaningful job. And the people with the traumatic brain injuries are benefiting. The people who come in for training are benefiting because this parish, this vestry, can look at the parish hall and see a training center. Whereas they were turned down, all up and down 15A, till they got to St. Peter's. Open hearts give us space for God to come in and plant the seed. The seed has been planted. And then we see differently. We don't just see a church that's here for an hour gathering on Sunday. We see a training place. We see a place to bring guiding eye dogs. We see a place for Brownies to play and to learn. We see a place for AA to gather, to talk and to grow and to benefit. We see FA coming. We see transformation happening to people. A church is a place for transformation. The people who come for Pralid training are being transformed. The people they care for are being transformed. The seed of an open heart sprouts into this incredible bush that covers and shelters and sends love out to all people. So today the readings call us to see with our heart, to think with our heart, to take here and combine it with here, and to see the way God sees, so that we too can be anointed and have the power that comes from the Spirit to see differently and to do differently and to be part of the mushroom tree. Amen.